Hello everybody, Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. Welcome to Summer Celebration. We're using the Wonderful World bundle that you could pick up as your free item with a $100 order during Celebration this summer, July and August 2022. Of course, you can substitute any product you have in your collection to make these fun projects. They'll just look different, which is fine. It's your card, make it your way. So we're going to be using a piece of the DSP today along with some stamped images from the Wonderful World set. I am pairing my project today with the Celebrating New Sentiment set. I'm also using the 3D Fern embossing folder, and I'm going to be using the label banner here from the Stylish Shapes dies. Now you might have dies from previous collections that are similar to these, so use the dies you have. But if you don't have circles and squares in these banners with the fun stitched outlines, there's a new product for you you could pick up if you choose to. I'm also going to be using the new iridescent rhinestones for embellishments. So let's go ahead and get started with our project today. Okay, so today we're going to be doing a monochrome card. So depending on the DSP you choose to use, you could have any color, but I'm using So Saffron because I chose to use this Stripes, which is one of the other panels from the DSP. So it's So Saffron, and the backside is this green rose print, but we're using the So Saffron today. So my base card is So Saffron. My ink color will be So Saffron. I am going to pair it with Mossy Meadow ink to make my tag, but you'll see that when I do it. And we're just going to have some fun layers. So let's do our stamping first. So we're going to stamp on our base card. Move all my pieces aside. So my base card is 8.5 by 11, scored at 5.5, folded. Sorry, scored at 4 1/4 and folded in half. Right, standard base card. And remember, all the measurements will be in the tutorial that I've emailed you along with this video link. So you can just print that out and have it for your files, right? For your crafting files. Okay, so we're going to stamp on our front here, and we're just going to do some repetitive stamping. So it doesn't really matter where you start. I'm just going to kind of start in this corner, and then I'm going to move along and just fill my card with this repeated image of the flower. Okay, so as many or as few as you want you can do on there. If you decide you want a little more peeking on the side, just add another bloom over there, that's fine. Okay, so that's going to be our base card. Now I'm going to do 2 flowers on basic white, and then we're going to fussy cut these out with our paper snips. So I've got 1 and 2. Now, while I'm here and stamping those, I'm going to go ahead and stamp on my envelope. Now I'm just going to use the blooms, and I'm just going to do the corner up here. So I'm kind of coming in from the side, just like that. Okay, so we've got all that done. Now, let's see. I'm going to do it one more time, but I'll do it when I do the tag. So now we're going to do some fussy cutting. So get out your paper snips, and you're just going to work along your image, kind of come in as close as you dare, right? It's totally up to you how close you get, and just work around this image. I'm going to try to hold this down so you guys don't have the camera auto-focusing. I'll do the best I can. So you just work your scissors around the image, trim off a piece if it gets in your way, but just work around these kind of pointed edges and trim out that flower. And we're going to do it twice so that we have 2 of these stems for the centerpiece and focal point of our card. And it's kind of repeated stamping because we used it in the background on the base, and then we're using it as the focal point again, which I like doing that with my cards, and this is a great paper series and set that allows you to do that. So a lot of the images from the stamp set is repeated in this paper collection. So that's always fun. So let's see. Come around. So I just took off a big chunk, and then I can go back in and kind of get that a little bit closer if you want. So some people fussy cut and leave a halo, which is fine, and some people like to get right in and cut along the edges. So whichever way you're more comfortable doing, whichever way you like it to look, is totally up to you. Remember, they're your cards. You go ahead and make them your way. And like I said, you could do this in any color. If you chose to use a different pattern paper, just coordinate with a color in that paper. Okay, there's some beautiful pinks and the greens, purples in this paper. So you could mimic this card, case this card with a different image or a different color, depending on the paper choice you decided to use. Alright, so I'm just going to come in here, almost around this second flower, and see, I'm not doing it, just kind of giving it a jagged line, which is kind of fun because this image is kind of jagged. So, but I am getting kind of close to these leaves. So, now, one of the reasons I am getting close in my image is because we're going to create a layered background with that DSP panel and then also a layer of vellum. And so I want to be able to see those behind my stamped images. So by trimming these out kind of close, it's going to allow those other patterns and textures to come through on the card. So there's that. Okay, so that's how I cut them out. Now I've already done it ahead of time, so I have another one cut out, so I'm not going to take time on the video to cut out the second one, but I am going to clean up my mess just so that I'm not working on too many different textures here. So there's my two flowers. Okay, so we've got our card base, we've got one panel, and I've got this panel of vellum. So I said I was going to use the 3D embossing folder, right, fern, 3D fern, and so all I do is I cut my vellum, I stick it in my folder, right. This one doesn't matter so much if you line it up with that guideline on there, but you can. But the way we're using it, it wouldn't really matter where you put it. And you run that through your embossing machine, and then I come out with this textured vellum, okay, which is kind of subtle, but it's got ridges and bumps on it now. It's got some extra white creases in it, which is kind of fun. So we're going to use that as another layer. And what we're going to do is we're going to angle these on our card. Okay, we're going to do one, and then we're going to do the other one, kind of offset. So we're going to see the stamped behind, we're going to see the patterned stripes, we're going to see the vellum, and then we're going to go ahead and build our flowers on top of that. Okay, and then we just need our sentiment tag. So let's go ahead and stamp our sentiment tag for a second. So again, I'm stamping the flowers another time. Now this time I just want the blooms, and I'm just going to add a little bit of color onto my white tag. So I'm just going to angle this. Sorry, there's an alarm going off. I'm just going to angle this so I get those flower petals on my tag. And then I'm going to bring in Mossy Meadow and my Happy Birthday stamp. And I'm going to stamp with the Mossy Meadow over the top so there's contrast to the two colors. So I've got the words and I've got the background image. So again, a little background stamping on our card. Okay? Alright, let's put it together. So I'm going to use my liquid adhesive for this first panel and probably the vellum too. So I just need to add a little bit. You can tell it's the first video of the day, right? My glue isn't all runny yet. Alright, come on glue, work with us. It really doesn't want to work. Yikes. Clean out that tip a little more. Bear with me, guys. Alright, one more time. Then all of a sudden it'll come out really fast, right? So sometimes I take my piercing tool and get right in there, pull out the glob that's keeping it clogged. Okay, there was just a little bit in there. Just pull that out. Come on. There. Okay. Just wipe that off in my trash bin. Alright, so now it's really coming out because I put a lot of pressure in there. So, put your adhesive on the back, hopefully not too heavy. And this one's going to go down on an angle slightly to the right. Okay, then the vellum, you usually see the adhesive behind vellum, but I'm going to put those flowers down. So I'm just going to put some adhesive right here in the center. Not kind of towards the edges, but just right in the center. And then this one's going slanted the other direction. So the two peek out from behind each other. Okay, now the next thing I'm going to do is put on my sentiment. Now why am I not putting the flowers on next? Because I'm going to tuck the flowers behind this tag and position them, but I want this on first. So I'm going to just put this one on with dimensionals, that way I can slide those in underneath. So this is going to go down here. Okay, and then these guys are going to get dimensionals too. So I'm just going to add, whoops, a couple behind the flower heads, because those stems are going to get tucked behind, but I'm going to go ahead and put just some liquid adhesive on the bottom, just so everything will be kind of stuck down. Okay, so I'm going to pull my dimensionals off, and I'm going to slide one over here. Just press that down for a second. Then I'm going to repeat the process with the second one. Slide this one over here. They could overlap or they could stand alone, however you want to do it. Right, it's your card. And then we're going to bring in our fun rhinestones. Now, one of the reasons I like these iridescent rhinestones is because you can really use them with any color, and they're going to kind of pick up what you put them on. So that's kind of fun. So I'm just going to use a really big one. I think I'm going to put it, yikes, I'm going to put it right here on the tag. And then I'm going to use a medium one, right? Sometimes I do these in threes. And I'm just going to peek it over here, and then I'll use a small one up top. So kind of like a triangle, right? I have to add my embellishments and odds, 3, 5, 7. I've shared that with you before. But there we go there, and then we've got our envelope, and you've got your project. So there's one of your 9 projects for this Wonderful World class series. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, you've got the tutorial with this email along with the link to the video, and go make some fun cards. Alright guys, see you again next time. Bye-bye.